Alright, so the first screen you're going to see is the information screen. Okay, now this screen here is going to show you all of your live parameters of everything that you've hooked up and done on the vehicle. So right there, you're going to see your RPM. And like, let's have Troy rev it up a little bit. Okay, so you know that's live information. Okay, this TPS, if you've hooked that up, is going to show right here. And Troy, go ahead and hit the gas again. Okay. Now this is our gem. This is what we've worked really hard to do. You're going to see some information here. These bars here on a diesel kit are going to be maxed out at a certain level above your default level that you're going to set. Now this is very important because this minimizes how far your stepper motor is going to open and close. These need to be set up. If these are not set up, you're just going to allow unlimited amounts of natural gas in there, and you can cause engine damage. So these are, I'll show you how to program these. And this is your default level. This is where it's always going to be, is 150. That needs to be programmed in there, and you'll know that because it'll show right there, default. This is the actual position of your stepper motor. And this right here, this is all the magic right here. This is your O2 sensor. This is what makes this diesel kit so unique and works so well. Okay, so we're going to exit out of there. Your next step is going to be vehicle configuration. Now this is going to be different on all of the vehicles out there. They're all different. It just happens the way that this Duramax is configured. These are the settings that have been used. And this is just going to be, this doesn't need to be 100% accurate like 4-cylinder. We're obviously not in a 4-cylinder. But we needed to obtain the RPM signal, and so this is what we chose. And to get the TPS and the correct O2 sensor type. So you just need to do what you need to do to get this.
So if we set this 4-cylinder to an 8-cylinder, go ahead and arrow down on that. What you'll see is you'll have all your options of different vehicles. And if we had left it an 8-cylinder, the RPMs on this would have projected maybe 1600, where the true reading was closer to around 600. So to achieve that, that's why we chose 4-cylinder. That's how that worked out. Just a little more information there.
And then this weak signal, this is an amplification, and this is important for a diesel. And you're probably going to be using this. Unless you're using an RPM signal adapter, then you're going to use standard. But for a diesel, you're probably going to use weak. And this amplifies the voltage, so you're going to see an RPM signal a lot easier. This right here is important. Okay, the type of petrol to alt fuel switch over. You're going to want it on acceleration, and this is when you first start your vehicle up and you go to hit the gas. You want it to switch over to natural gas as you're accelerating, and that is for this switch right here. So Troy is going to switch over. This is
flashing light means it's not running on CNG yet. Now as I accelerate and we went past 900 RPM, you'll see it went over to CNG, solid yellow light. So now we're currently running on CNG.
Okay, and then your fuel level indicator with this kit that we use, I'll show you. This is your fuel level indicator, and the output signal that this puts out is called an AEB. This is how you're going to get your fuel level signal, right there. And now your TPS type, this is going to be different as well for each different type of diesel vehicle that you have.
And it's also not mandatory to use. It can add, but it's not critical. So if you're hooking this up to a piece of equipment that has a mechanical throttle position sensor, then don't worry about it. You're not losing anything. You can still function just fine.
That's right. Now your O2 sensor type, we are just using a standard Chevrolet 1992 universal one-wire oxygen sensor that you can pick up for 20 bucks at AutoZone. Okay, and let me show you the different types. You can get get different types. This kit is universal. This kind you're going to use is just a 0 to 1 volt, just the standard that they've been using up until I think it's 2007. Okay, so you can choose different types to get an accurate oxygen sensor signal. And now these two you're not even using at all, so these two bottom ones are fine. You're not even going to use them. Okay, now this one right here, your optional configurations. This is an important screen. The first screen you're going to see is your petrol alt fuel switchover. This here, we are not using a temperature sensor mounted on the regulator. We're not going to be using that, so this needs to be set at 15C. And the over rev option, this will completely disable the natural gas system at your RPM here for engine safety. The lowest that we can go is 4,000 RPM, and so that's what we set it up at. Automatic switchover to petrol and low level. This will also turn the natural gas system off. There's a relay on it, and it disables it when we reach a low enough fuel level on our CNG gauge. And the next one is going to be the actuator. I'm going to show you how to program and the steps that we're going to use to program this. Okay, right here, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to optional default lock. And the reason why we need to set that up is because if we don't, the system will be in full automatic mode, and the system will not work. You get too much gas, diesel mix, and cause your truck overheat and cause problems. And you need to have this checked. You're going to see this default lock value. We're going to set it at 150 on all vehicles. This is mandatory. Okay? It can range from 0, fully closed, 255, which is fully open. But all vehicles are going to be set at this. Now on this Duramax, we have found that the highest that we can safely go is 45. And that's going to be over this number right here, the 150. So this is the maximum that we're going to be able to go is 195 is going to be the highest that the stepper motor is going to be open. And then under this 50, just in case, let's say we've got a trailer and we've been pulling a big, huge, steep hill and we're getting too much natural gas and the exhaust system is getting really hot, this is to allow the stepper motor to start closing off and limiting the amount of natural gas we have. This is for safety. Now, the full throttle option, we have not chose that because we're using an oxygen sensor to regulate our fuel, and it's doing so well. That's the way it is.
And that's the reason the throttle position sensor just isn't necessary, because we're not really dialing into that information. And so if you can't get it, your system will still run just fine.
That's why the full throttle option isn't chosen. We're not utilizing that type, so we're good there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the system right here. This is a little used. This was out of one of my vehicles. So this is the basic layout of it. You're going to have your water ports right here. You can see that I've got some hoses right there, still attached. Okay, this right here is your connector for your fuel level gauge. Goes right to your computer. This is a really high quality lock-off valve. Okay, this is what's going to turn the gasoline off, the natural gas off, coming out of this hose right here. Now the size of this is really, really important, because the smaller, cheaper regulators have a really tiny one, and they fail quite a bit. So this right here is really important when you're buying a regulator. You want to make sure you got this big one.
Also note that the size of this outlet, this is what we use typically on our commercial vehicles, meaning our semis, and this is just a larger feed for our diesels. And the one that you'll get is just a step down in your kit, but it's plenty. It will definitely feed your vehicle, any Duramax, anything, 1500 series vehicles. 3500 series vehicle diesels. We run them all off our regulators slightly smaller, and we run our semis off these larger regulators.
Yeah, that's also really important that I did notice is, yeah, this is for the semis. This is our semi-regulator. This is our heavy duty. If you're driving a Peterbilt or with a Cat engine or a Cummins, the big engines, this is a high output. This is heavy duty. This is the best you can get. Okay? Now, the two settings that you're going to see that would adjust this is a screw right here. Okay, this is your main output. You're not going to touch this. This is going to be factory set. You don't need to touch this at all. The only one that you're going to be touching is really, really simple once you hook it up, is going to be this screw right here. Okay, so take a note. What we're going to do is we're going to close this screw off when you get it. Okay, it's just a little snug, little finger tight. That's it. Don't use any tools. Okay, and then you're going to come back to your programming on your computer once you've set it up the way I've shown you. And you're going to go to this default lock value.
And when we say set up these values are what we're finding true for Duramaxes and most larger trucks. When we're doing TDI diesels and Mercedes diesels, they have a different values, and we'll give that on we'll have a different video for that one, that information.
As far as all the vehicles go, this is going to be your basic setup for all of your vehicles. You're going to set this number up right here. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to put this at 165. Now it's important to hit enter after you put that in. If you don't hit enter, it will not enter that value. It will not enter it.
Save it. Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to hit enter while your vehicle's running. Okay, while your vehicle's all running, warmed up and everything, and you got everything hooked up correctly, and you've been able to read all the information that I've shown you, you're going to hit 165. Then you're going to go back outside to your vehicle, and you're going to start slowly unscrewing this screw, and this is going to start allowing fuel to come out of this hose. Now, you're going to start unscrewing this until you start to hear your engine start to change its RPM or have a misfire sound.
A lug?
Kind of a lug. You're gonna notice a difference. Okay, when you notice that, you're done. Leave it alone and never touch this ever again. It's set forever. Then come in here and you're gonna reset this to 150. Okay, and you're gonna hit enter, and it will always be right here. Never ever touch this. Very, very important. Now for your larger engines like our diesels or our Duramaxes, your Power Stroke, you're going to set these no higher than 45 and 50, 45 and 50. The reason why is we've determined that this is the highest, safest amount that you can go. If you want to make it higher, you can, but it's really not recommended. This gives you such good gas mileage. These have been proven for the past 30 days on this vehicle, and the customer has not had a single problem. And this truck is very, very intelligent, and if there is any problem, it shuts things off. So if there was ever a problem with this Duramax, we would have had problems and we would have known about it.
Yeah, the vehicle will default to a safe operating mode, and it goes into a limp mode, right, Sean?
Right.
Is the terminology when it's getting too much juice, too much power. And so for this Duramax, these are the settings. When we were getting up into setting into 50-50, it would sometimes default into that limp mode or safety mode. And so we haven't had any issues since we've toned it down a little bit, and we're still getting over 50% increase in fuel economy on the diesel.
This guy has been running this truck for the past 30 days, and he said that he's only put 1 tank of diesel fuel in, and he's put an average of 7 to 8 days 1 tank of his natural gas. You cannot beat that. His combined freeway and city driving with this big, huge, fully loaded, dressed up truck is 30 miles per gallon. When I heard that, it's insane, and I'm telling people that, and they're like, wow, that is amazing. Okay, this is rock solid, hard testing. It's proven.
But just driving out here to do this video, road testing it, we were again averaging 44, 46 miles a gallon, just straight freeway. Just to give you an idea of what this truck can do on the freeway with this current setting.
freeway is getting that just straight freeway, which is insane.
And we're running 35-inch tires, 4-inch, 6-inch. Big lift on this truck is definitely not set up for economy.
All right, so the kit that we have put together, we're using this stepper motor. And as you can see through that stepper motor, what a stepper motor is a little actuated valve that opens and closes. Okay, and this is going to give you an idea of what we're talking about. Now, most people are either using a valve where they've set it up, see how it's open that amount, and they're just leaving it. Okay, or they're using this type of stepper motor with a computer, a basic computer, and they're manually adjusting it and leaving it alone. Well, that doesn't really work really well. You're getting either too much diesel at an idle and then not enough when you need it, or not enough at all. And the kit that we have designed runs off of an oxygen sensor, and it operates, if you've set it up at an idle the way I've showed you, you're going to get a perfect mixture around town. You're not going to have too much and light driving.
Like right now we're idling, and this vehicle is idling perfectly.
Perfect.
It's not lugging. Absolutely perfectly. And prior to doing the oxygen sensor, we just had it set up where it was just straight feeding in there, and we tried to control it, but even at just the slightest amount of CNG in there unregulated, the motor would lug and it would just fight to idle correctly. Now it's idling perfectly, and yes, it's idling primarily percentage-wise on diesel, but the computer now is smart enough to know when we put it under a load and we get on the freeway, that's when the CNG kicks in, and that's what Sean's been able to figure out here by adding the oxygen sensor and tweaking the program.
You're looking at a unique, one-of-a-kind system that we have designed, and we have proven it with a truck that most people wouldn't experience. This is everybody's dream truck. This is what everybody wants, and everybody that has a truck like this wants to achieve better horsepower, better gas mileage, and extreme reliability. Now, this truck, prior to bringing it to me, was set up statically with a valve. And when it first arrived, it sounded like it had a misfire, like bad spark plugs. And that's not good for a diesel. Right now, it sounds like it just rolled off the showroom floor, brand spanking new. And that's what I'm really excited about. Okay? So, what we're going to do is we're going to show you, I'm going to exit the screen, and as long as everything's set up correctly, you're going to go to display parameters. Okay? Now, what we're going to do is you're going to see we're at a full stop, and we're going to hit the highway. We're going to show you the operation of this system and show you how it works. Now, diesels run really cold through their exhaust system, and this oxygen sensor, for most ASE certified mechanics, are going to look at this and go, there's something wrong. They're going to sit in their driveway and rev the engine up. They're going to power brake it. They're going to race around through their neighborhood, and they're going to say, this doesn't work. Okay. This system is not based on racing, driving crazy. This system operates under load when you need it. The stepper motor is going to start opening up and give you the fuel that you need at the proper ratio. So, we're going to start going here.
Ready?
We're going to wait for the semi-truck to
also note that this right here is where the actual plunger of the stepper motor is. And so right now it's open, and it will move as the demand as it's needed. And you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Fast, slow.
Yeah, go ahead and get on the highway. Okay, so you can see his TPS, so he's hitting the gas. He's not driving really hard. You can prove that right here. So we don't really need a heck of a lot of gas. Okay, so there's the oxygen sensor. Cruising down the highway. We want to get better gas mileage. Now it's starting to lean out. So you're going to notice, there she is. The stepper motor is opened up as large as I have allowed it. This is as high as it's going to go. We've determined this is the safest this vehicle can run. It won't go above that, no matter how hard we drive it. So it's completely safe. Now, if this starts to get too rich, we start to get too much diesel or natural gas, this will shoot over to rich, and then this will start to drop back down. So you can see we're not really hitting the gas very hard. Nice RPM. CNG system's working good. And
right, also notice that throttle position sensor, it hasn't moved much, so it's not something you really need to worry about as far as you know, if your tractor trailer or whatever you're hooking up to doesn't have a throttle position sensor, then you're not losing any major advantages by any means. And
we have found on summitracing.com that a lot of the tuners with the Volkswagen TDIs and a lot of the diesel guys with older trucks are hooking up Sun Pro tachometers. So there are little computer modules that you can buy to put in your vehicle that you can obtain TPS or RPM signals. So you do have options.
okay, you still filming?
Yeah, you want me to
Why don't we show the fuel economy, what we're getting, this average right here. Here, I'll get it. So, about to be wrecking. Got a real strong headwind out here on the desert, but we're averaging right about 42 on here. And of course, I gunned it a little bit to catch up. So it will average out. I'll just keep this on here, see what we average.